Hey guys, welcome back to the channel and thank you so much for watching this video today. On this video we're going to be rolling my fenders on my 8th gen Civic Si and installing a new tire setup. But before this video gets started today, be sure to do me a quick favor, go down below and give this video a like and consider subscribing for more content. With that being said, let's go ahead and get this video started. Okay guys, so the reason why we are rolling my fenders today is because ever since I got my new wheels and tires set up, my fitment hasn't been exactly perfect. Now, I love how my car looks the way that it sits, but it definitely is not 100% perfect. So that's what we're going to be taking care of today. So if you guys have not watched the video, be sure to hit this little indication right here to go watch that video where we install my Koenig Hypergrams and my Nitto Neogen tires. So pretty much what happened is ever since I got those new wheels and tires, I don't exactly have a good clearance in the front, especially just because since the springs do compress, the tire is a little bit beefy, so it does rub on my fender liner just a little bit. So in terms of that, we are going to be fixing those fenders today. We're just going to be rolling the fenders, giving me a little bit more clearance so that way my tire can clear, especially for the new tire setup that we have going to be putting on today. Another thing too, we are actually going to be putting on 3mm spacers. Only reason being is because due to a safety concern and to fix a little bit of fitment. So I'm not too sure from the last couple of videos of when I was adjusting my max speed around coilovers. I think I mentioned that I did raise up the car just a slight bit because it was rubbing pretty badly on the fender liner. So that way, for this video, we're going to see if we can try to take care of that and eliminate that completely with that fender roller kit. But other than that, we're going to go ahead and show you what I got and we can go ahead and get started. Alright, so as you guys can see, we have a big job to do today. My entire toolbox is outside just because I want to have quick access to my tools whenever I need it. So as you guys can see, we have all my equipment out here. We have my 3mm spacers, a heat gun from Harbor Freight, and of course the fender roller. Another thing too, big shout out to my uncle slash my Tito. Tito Nono, if you're watching this, huge thank you, shout out to you for giving me this fender roller. I'm definitely going to use this well, and I hope you enjoy this video. Other than that, these are going to be my new wheel spacers that are hub centric. These are 3mm spacers for my Civic Si. They're not super aggressive. Obviously you can tell they're super thin. Once I get these installed, I probably won't see a difference. I'm hoping just maybe a little bit, just because with my current fitment right now, I would like to have it just poking out just a little bit towards the fender, but we'll see. It's not as bad, but it'll probably make it flush out, hopefully. So the reason why, or the main reason why we are installing these spacers for you guys today is because on my left rear side on my vehicle, right where the tire hits, like on the inside, I didn't notice it before until I was working on my brakes recently, but I am rubbing pretty badly on, I would say, where when you fill up your gas, the tube right next to it, there's a little cover right in front of that gas tube, and it rubs just a little bit. So I definitely don't want to rub there completely, because worst case scenarios, I might possibly rip off the protection pad and then actually get access to or rub against the gas hose. So I definitely don't want that, especially catch on fire too, like if I'm hitting the togs pretty aggressive. So we are going to be installing these guys today, and hopefully it fixes that issue completely. Okay, but with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and get the right side jacked up just so it's a lot easier because I'm not in the middle of the road doing this. But I'll see you guys in a bit once the vehicle's up in the air. Alright guys, so I have my car jacked up just a little bit. I don't need anything super crazy like I usually do. I'm just going to do it one at a time just so it can save me some time, because we definitely do have a lot of work to do. One thing I actually forgot to mention that we're going to be doing is we're actually going to be adjusting my front coilovers, because since I mentioned I did raise it a little bit, I'm trying to go a little bit lower now just for better aerodynamics. And of course, I believe the ride height or the ride quality is a little bit off, because usually for these kinds of vehicles, they are angled downward. So we are going to go and fix that today. So what we're doing is we're going to be taking off the wheel, measuring what my height is, and then just adjust it just a slight bit. And we're going to be fixing my camber too in the front, because I actually wanted to get more front camber than I do have in my rear. I don't exactly remember my specs in the rear, but I believe it's like -2 or -3. Nothing super crazy, but I'm going to go ahead and move my top hat a little bit over just so I can get an extra little bit more negative camber out of that. And I'll show you guys what I mean like once we get into that. Alright guys, so right now I'm adjusting my suspension to see like what we're looking exactly, so I can actually do an adjustment to see if I want to go a little bit lower or see how far I can go a little bit lower. So the goal is pretty much maybe drop it, I would say half an inch to see how that sits. Probably not as aggressive though, like because right now I'm reading my measurement from the top of the coilover and it's showing 12 and 3/8, almost a foot over. So I'm gonna drop it down to probably 12 inches to see how that looks, and then we'll go from there. I'm hoping I don't have to take out the whole suspension. I most likely will have to, just because in order for me to actually adjust the camber on the top hat, I'm definitely gonna have to take out my suspension, but obviously I won't bore you guys for that, so I'll go ahead and skip that for you. But we're gonna go ahead and adjust the coilover really quick, but there is a downside. So as you coilover owners know, this is the downside when you're adjusting the coilovers after a long time: rust buildup. So I'm gonna go ahead and try to clean these splines really quick, so hopefully it can budge easily. So I'll be right back. Alright guys, so I actually had to pound on this coilover locking nut just so that I can adjust it, but we got it loose, so now I'm gonna lower it just a little bit. If I remember, they're at 12 inches and 3/8, so I'm gonna drop it down to either 12 inches flat or half an inch of 11 inches and a half. So I'll go ahead and do that really quick to see how it looks, and then we'll go from there. Alright guys, so I lowered it down to from 12 3/8 to, I believe, 12 inches flat. So I'm gonna go ahead and lower the car now with the wheel just to see how it looks, and then we'll go from there. Alright, so a little bit better. Definitely room for improvement, especially since rolling the Fenders. So I would say, let's see how much gap that is really quick. So this is actually a whole inch from the sidewall right here to the actual fender. I'm gonna go ahead and raise it back up, take off the wheel, and then measure it again. Alright guys, so taking a good look at it, from adjusting from 12 3/8 to 11.5 inches, I believe that I think there's room to lower all the way down to 11 inches from my coilover. So, and nothing too, it's a little bit risky just because since my tire profile on the sidewall is a little bit higher, my new tire setup is actually going to be a little bit smaller. So that middle number in the tire size, for my OEM spec size for the tires, they're 215 45 17, but for the new tire is going to be 215 40 17. But that's not going to be the exact same size, but the sidewall height went going from a 45 to a 40, so there is room to improve. So I'm going to go ahead and slam it down to 11 inches. Alright guys, we dropped it down to 11 inches flat. Let's see how it looks. Alright, moment of truth. Ooh, man, that's definitely flush. Yeah, so rolling those fenders are definitely going to pay off too, especially we're definitely going to have to cut some fender lighting too, just so it can fit properly. But in terms of how it sits, I'm liking it a lot, and it matches up with the rear too, so I'm really looking forward to this. So we are going to go ahead and take off the suspension and then adjust the top hat, and then we can start rolling the fenders. Alright guys, so suspension's all taken care of, so I already adjust the height. Now I'm going to adjust the top hat really quick. Pretty much, I'm pretty sure I'm going to have to loosen up these top hat bolts that's located in here, so I can move the top hat over one space so I can get more camber out of it. So I'm going to go ahead and take off the suspension, or in this case the coilover and the top hat. We'll go from there, so I'll see you guys in a bit. Alright guys, so it's been a couple hours now since we started this first suspension adjustment. So unfortunately, while I was adjusting my top hat, it looks like I couldn't get the whole coilover out of the whole suspension area. So I had to pretty much go on the top of where I can access my top hat in this little part of the plastic trim or whatever. So I had to manually do it pretty much like in this little compartment hole. Let me get that focus for you guys. So I pretty much had to stick my hand in there, take all like those little Allen key nuts and the top hat bolts off in that spot and move it over by one so I can get more camber. But fortunately I couldn't do that because this one bolt that holds the whole coilover together, these bolts right here, the very bottom one, didn't want to budge, so I wasn't able to get it loose, so I had to do it in that small hole. But luckily that is over with now. I'm really hoping it's not going to be like that on the other side because it definitely took a long time. But now we can go ahead and start the fender rolling process. So what we will have to do is remove my hub centric ring, get the fender roller attached, go ahead and make some cutting to where I need to get it off so that way I can start rolling the fender, and then we can go ahead and get the set up. So I'll see you guys in a bit. Alright guys, so we are about to start the fender lining cutting. So pretty much what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to take out this edge of fender liner. Obviously it's all messed up from all the rubbing issue. So what I'm thinking is cutting it right above this plastic trim right here and follow this outline right here past these clips just to get a better look at the actual fender we'll be rolling today. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this and I'll see you guys in a bit. Alright guys, so I definitely cut a little bit more. So honestly, I'm pretty liking it so far. I'm in a slight bit nervous that I cut a little too far, but that's gonna be for the better. So I'm just concerned if this is gonna be like flapping like on the freeway or anything, like due to like air going through. But pretty much now all we gotta do is roll this fender line all the way down, because pretty much on the fender it's at a 90-degree angle pretty much, and this is the fender we're going to be rolling. So the goal is just to close that gap so that way more tire can fit in there, and of course since we did lower the suspension we don't have any more rubbing issues. Alright guys, so I unfortunately have more bad news. So it looks like even with raising the suspension to get my fenders rolled, it still wasn't working out to me too good. So we're gonna have to wait on rolling the fenders. Pretty confident when I have super rubbing issues. Now I did use a hammer to bang a few spots just so like the tire wouldn't rub against it. Since I'm changing out these tires pretty soon, I'm not really too worried about rubbing just because they're low on tread. But we're gonna go ahead and skip the rubbing for now, install the spacers, and worry about the fender rolling later. But we still got a whole other side to do the front suspension, but I'm gonna go ahead and film that off camera just because I am losing daylight and we need to get this stuff done before I get these tires. So I'm gonna go ahead, put all this fender rolling stuff away, put on the spacers, and then we're gonna move to the other side. But first we gotta fix and install that spacer on the right rear. Alright guys, so I'm gonna go ahead and install this 3mm spacer. If you guys wanted to get a 3mm spacer, something super crazy, just something simple just due to rubbing, I picked this up on Amazon. You can find different measurements of these, like 5mm, 10mm, depending on which one you need. But it is hub centric, so just pretty much just go on just like that. Pretty much serves up completely. One thing I am a little concerned is I don't think I'll be able to use this hub ring centric no more. So actually, yeah, looks like we're not going to be able to use that. So I'm going to have to take these off for a bit. I'm going to see how the wheel looks with this on. If I have any rubbing issues, I may have to take this off. We'll see. But I'm going to go ahead and mount the wheel now. Car is lowered, so definitely have a little bit of space, which is nice, but I definitely eliminated that gap that I had earlier. The spacer did bring it out just a slight bit, nothing super crazy. Almost, actually, that might be completely flush, but maybe just a little bit more and it would be flush, but I think it's perfect the way it is. But as you guys can see, if we walk over to the driver's side, we definitely have a little bit of room. Almost looks the same, but definitely still need to be adjusted. But we're gonna go ahead and take care of that. but I'm going to do this off camera, and we're going to go ahead and install the other millimeter spacers. It is very unfortunate I wasn't able to roll my Fenders. It is what it is, but I'm still hoping I can do that in the near future, but I'm going to have to wait. But for now, we're going to go ahead and jack up the rear, put the new spacers on, and lower it and torque everything all together. Alright you guys, so I got the spacer on the right rear and the right front as well. So Fitment is a little bit better. I definitely like the new ride height adjustment. I'm really hoping I don't rub as bad. But we're gonna go ahead and hop on the other side. I'm actually gonna film this part off camera just because it is a time process and I'm running out of daylight and it is super bright out, I know. But other than that, like, we're gonna go ahead and adjust the other front coilover on the left front side, and we're gonna put on both of the hub ring spacers, and then afterwards we're completely done for today, and we just gotta wait to get those tires in, and then we can go ahead and change it. So other than that, I'll see you guys in a bit. Alright guys, so we're out for the test drive after lowering the car and adjusting the suspension for the final time. So far, it seems okay. Nothing too crazy. There is a little bit of rubbing when the springs do compress, so I probably might go back later and adjust the rebound to see if anything needs to be adjusted. But so far, I'm in the car right now, like in terms of like just me steering just like so. There's no rubbing whatsoever or any contact onto the fenders, so far so good. Everything's working out pretty good. Obviously you guys can tell that it's at a different screen mode right now. I'm actually currently recording with my phone instead of my camera because I have no way to mount this properly. So pretty much I just have my phone rubber band to my visor so that way you guys can get like a POV action. So pretty much we're just going for a little quick test drive, just make sure everything tests out okay, making sure nothing else rubs really badly. So far everything checks out really good. So in terms of like how the car sits and how it feels really good. Like after adjusting my top hats to get a little bit more camber in, it feels really good. Other than that, in terms of the height's perfect. I like it to where it is at, so I'm definitely gonna keep this here for a little bit. Other than that, like as soon as we get the new tires installed, which we'll be actually doing in a second, but we're just gonna finish up this test drive and then head over to the tire shop to see if there's anything. I'm just gonna wait for this guy really quick. I'm just gonna see if there's anything going on, like before we actually put on the new tires. But I am really looking forward to see how the new ride height is gonna sit with the new tires. So we're just gonna go ahead, just do a quick little lap, and then we're gonna head back to the tire shop and get those new tires installed. Do a quick little baby pull here just to make sure nothing rubs when I'm gassing it. Nothing rubs whatsoever, which is pretty good. That's exactly what I wanted. So we're gonna go ahead and head to the tire shop and then get these new tires installed. Alright guys, so it has been a couple of weeks since we changed out the tires. During those couple of weeks we did make some changes. I'll definitely go over that in a second. But we got all four of the brand new Continental Extreme Contact O2 Sport tires on for you guys today. Tires feel phenomenal compared to the Needle Gens what I had on before. So far I'm just daily driving it, doing a little baby pulls with these new tires. I actually did drive in the rain as well and actually hold really well, surprisingly. Alright, before we talk about the tires, so back when we were trying to do the fender rolling, I actually went back one weekend and tried to do it again. Pretty much what had happened was I actually went ahead and rolled both of the front fenders because I was still rubbing a lot, and I decided, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and just raise my suspension to where I can actually use the fender roller, and that's exactly what we did. On the passenger side here, I actually started on this fender. I actually did mess up just a little bit. Keep in mind, this is actually a new fender that we resprayed. That's going to be on the next video. But I pretty much damaged this paint spot right here. It's nothing super crazy, nothing super that I'm worried about. As long as the fender is rolled. I'll see if I can try to get a shot for you guys. But pretty much this in here is completely flat. And I have a lot of clearance. And another thing too, we actually messed with the camber a little bit. So yeah, going to the engine bay where my camera plates are. So I went ahead and, like, since I was rolling my fenders, adjusted my camber plates, maxed out to the negative camber. I'm not too sure like what are the specs exactly. I do still need an alignment. I'm gonna guess it's more of like a -1, -2 camber. I'll straighten out the wheel for you guys, but pretty much this wheel was completely straight. It wasn't tilted out whatsoever. But I'll go ahead and turn the wheel for you guys to see what I'm talking about. Alright, so standing right on the side of you guys, you can tell that it is a slight angle to it. I think you might actually get a better view in the front. So pretty much that wheel is pretty much tilted in. You can obviously see I have a lot more clearance now, especially after the fender rolled. I believe I might have to go back and adjust my right front height, but so far it's settling just nice. It's exactly to where I like it. So far, no rubbing issues whatsoever. I'm very happy how it turned out, especially with these type of tires too, just because we went a little bit wider. All right, now I do apologize. I couldn't get any footage for this fender rolling. It definitely was a process, especially since it was my first time. I definitely didn't want to like waste all time just like me struggling just to put the fender roller on and get it to work. But that's all taken care of for you guys. Alright guys, so like I said before, we went with a different size this time. Originally on the Needle Gens, I had a 225/45/17. As for these brand new Continental tires, they're now a 245/40/17. So definitely went a little bit wider than last time. I wanted to get something a little bit more grip and a little bit more tire to give me that beefy look. And also the best handling too, especially in the back roads. So far the tires feel phenomenal. Definitely paid a little extra penny to get these tires on. Continental tires are a very goated company. However, I do like the Needle Gens still, but they don't beat these Continentals just because those Needle Gens are an awesome performance all-season tire. Alright, if you guys don't know what type of tires these are actually summer tires. They're a 340 tread, so they wear out a little bit quicker than most all-season tires, but since we have a Honda in this case, like, they're gonna last a good while until I get these replaced. But they are a wet and dry traction tire. So far I tested them in the rain and they actually did really good, better than the Needle Gens. Problem is, when I had those Needle Gens, I did get some hydroplaning when I was driving in the rain. Not too sure like why, because they were all season tires. I did see there were some reviews about the rainy conditions, like they're not really the best. But in terms of these Continental tires in the rain, they are phenomenal. They don't even feel like they're even getting wet. They have a very good grip on the highway and on the city as well. Now I was gonna go for a togue run with these new tires, but that's actually gonna have to wait for a next video. I'm actually gonna go to a togue at the end of this month. It's currently December 20th, I believe. So at the end on New Year's Eve in the morning, me and a couple buddies are gonna go hit the back roads to see like what these tires can do and have a little bit of fun before the year ends. But so far, you guys, these tires are amazing. Like, I'm pretty sure they're not even breaking in yet, but they grip really hard. Alright guys, so I'm actually gonna end the video here. If you guys enjoyed this video, please consider giving this video a like and comment down below if you learned anything or if you have any questions. I'll be happy to answer them. Other than that, please consider subscribing. We are actually almost at 300 subscribers. If you guys can do me that big favor and subscribe down below, it would mean a lot. Just a way to end the year off good. Other than that, we'll see you guys in the next video. We have a couple more stuff that's coming to you soon, and then next year we'll begin the Dotson build. So I'll see you guys in the next video.